Hey everybody. Um, this lesson is about what happens when I'm solving equations and I get an equation that has an unusual solution. Most of the equations you're going to run into in school have one solution. The value of x is 2.5, or the value of y is -17. In this case, that means that that's the value that makes that equation true, and it's what we're used to. It's what um, we think we're looking for. The value can be a lot of things, and the farther you go in math, the more you'll see. But what happens if you get a false statement? Like you do the whole equation, and then you get something at the end that says 12 equals 9, or 1/4 equals 1/3. And you're like, that's a straight lie. Well, then it's no solution. Liars have no solution. Kind of easy to remember in that way. So if it is not telling the truth, it is no solution. Personally, outside of this particular lesson, when I come across that, I do go through and double check my work to make sure that that's the case. But there is a mathematical answer. So you would write no solution. That would be what you wrote down as your answer, or selected if it was choices. Now, if the solution is always true, 7 equals 7, okay, 4/5 equals 4/5, something like that, where it is always true, no matter what, then you come into a thing where it's kind of like it's overly matching, and so you have infinitely many solutions. What that means is no matter what number you ever put into that equation, it's always going to be true. If you were graphing them, they would be the exact same line. So that is what infinitely many solutions means. And that's what you would write down, infinitely many solutions. So as we go through this, we're going to get a little more practice in solving equations, and then you'll see what happens when we get to the end if it's one of these weird kinds. So on this first example, 4 plus w plus 5w equals 3 times the quantity 2w plus 1.6. We're going to solve this like we would any equation and then see what happens. So I'm going to start off with, I have some like terms here. I can just combine them. So I can rewrite this 4 plus 6w. And on this side of the equation, I need to use distributive property. So in this case, I'm going to write 3 times 2 is 6w. 3 times 1.6 is 4.8. Okay. Now, let's deal with our variable first. Okay. I have a positive 6w, so I'm going to subtract 6w from both sides. Okay. That cancels. Oh, that cancels. So now I have a statement that says that 4 equals 4.8. No. And I could have even noticed, some of you may have noticed, even at this stage right here, you had a statement where it said 4 plus 6w is the same thing as 6w plus 4.8. There's a big kind of red flag right there, but I finished it out. This is a lie. So my written answer is no solution. Hopefully that helps when you come across this really kind of awkward answer. Now, what about this next one? Again, it looks like I need to clean up at least one side of the equation. So I need to use distributive property to clean up this left side. I know you don't like fractions. I haven't ever met a middle schooler who liked fractions. But let's just think about it. 1/4 of 4 somethings is just one of them. 1/4 of $4 would be 1, right? So this is just X. 1/4 of 2, in this case -2, well, what if I had $2 and I split it between 4 people? That's -1/2 or -50 cents, right? So I'm going to write -1/2. Now, if you need to, always feel free to take things like this that I make look neat in an equation and do things like 1/4 times 4 over on the side, or 1/4 times -2, and just do that problem over there. Okay? So now I have -1/2 equals, or I'm sorry, x equals x minus 1/2 equals x minus 1/2. Oops, that is a red flag. So I'm going to put a little question mark there, like, really? Well, let's move this 1/2. If I add 1/2 to both sides of the equation, okay, that cancels, I get x equals x. That means that it is forever and always the same, infinitely many solutions. That is what you would write down. So hopefully that helps as you're solving equations, and maybe gives you a little more practice too with just kind of some of the moving around and the manipulation of equations. Have a great day.